Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a scene for the Living World of Darkness, C20 venue. This scene has our good William the Black hunting down another troll trying to find out more information. He has done a little bit of investigative research and he has found there's a grump troll who used to service old sea vessels. And he frequents Kiss My Shamrock, which is a Cluricano-operated bar that is fairly changeling safe. And the scene will begin with Sir William and Khadgar walking into the bar. It is a traditional Irish pub. It's stereotypical in the worst of ways. There's flags, there's horribly themed drinks, some cultural misrepresentation, some legitimate representation. Whole lot of fun. The music isn't terribly loud at the moment, but just people are having nice after dinner drinks. The event hasn't gotten rowdy yet.
The William enters, and he is, as much as there is weirdness, weird confidence with him. He also tries to be nice to people as best as he can. Um, he goes towards the bar, like his eyes searches a troll because we are able to see chemical reality, but he wants to be sure because he wants to leave any person who's not Bobby Collins alive, so alone. Um, So what he does is he goes to a bar, you know, um, orders a beer. Gives if the beer is like $6, he gives $10 and says keep the change.
All right.
And he just asks, I apologize, I have a question. I am looking for Bobby Collins. I would like to ask him a couple questions. Do you know
Yeah.
where he is?
And the bartender, Cluricon Canane, goes, "Yeah, Bobby's he's over there, and he's sitting at a booth, just kind of by himself. He's got a little plate of nachos and he's got a beer in front of him. Nothing real special, but he
The
looks like he's having just
go on, sorry.
just dinner and a drink by himself at a bar."
Okay. The William uh, asks bartender and says, would he mind if I go near him and say, I have a couple questions that he might know?
He looks you up and down and goes, "Probably not.
Thank
If
you.
his day's been rough, he'll probably tell you to go sit on a telephone pole. If his day's been decent, I'm sure he'll be all right."
Okay. He slowly approaches this man, and the I need you to tell me something, OOC, which is really weird. I know in English, sir is, a good way to address a person when you don't know the person who is older than you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also at the same time, it is like a nice thing. So, is there any other way I can address, Williams can address, because he's a native English speaker. Um,
Um, Sir would be appropriate,
okay.
uh, because you'll use it um, kind of as an honorific or a pardon me and excuse me, but generally sir is attached to that.
Okay,
Generally
then,
it's like excuse me, sir.
he will approach and he will say, "Excuse me, sir. Am I speaking with Bobby Collins?"
And this troll, he's a grump. He's definitely physically he's in pretty good shape. He's decent height, decent build, but he definitely looks like he has been through the ringer at least more than once. Um, he's it's definitely the look of had a hard life. Yeah, I'm Mr. Collins. He
Um,
looks you up and down.
the William looks young. He is wilder, but there are definite scars on his neck that comes from his shoulder.
Hmm.
He has long hairs. The way that he wears is not in any shape or form oppressive to anybody. He actually, pardon, aggressive to anybody. He makes sure he wears clothes that will not, how do I say, would might be understand wrongly by certain people
Hmm.
or any type of people. Like
You're not
there's
throwing gang colors. Gotcha.
yeah, also like there's no skulls in his t-shirts and stuff like that because some old people might think that that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
and he doesn't like that.
And this
Uh,
this guy looks to be in the maybe his mid 60s. He is definitely he's been around for quite a while.
he extends a hand and says, "My name is William Black. I was maybe hoping that you might help me in something that I heard that you are kind of you have some knowledge on."
Fair enough. Go ahead, have a seat.
He sits and he has a beer in his hand, um, and he says, "I really apologize. Um, the this is a matter that I want to help my certain individuals who I consider friends." Um, the he looks around to make sure like there's like, this is the changing bar, and we are at the booth where the most of the changelings goes. But he just looks again to make sure no humans are around.
You are you are even if there were there may be some people in there's some people in the booth behind you, but the music is kind of loud enough, and the way the bar is shaped, the booth is shaped. It would take a definitive act of intent
Oh, okay.
for somebody to try and listen. It would take a dedicated effort.
The I was reading newspapers a couple days ago, and um, I saw something about shark attacks.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's it's weird.
I completely agree, sir. My friend, I met with one of them as a friendly one. Two other individuals. Uh, these he whispers like he doesn't whisper, but he says it lowly again because he's like paranoia is good sometimes, especially about these stuff. And he
Hmm.
says, "Selkies, went to investigate this.
Oh damn.
Um, I was at the boat because they needed someone to wait for them,
Hmm.
put lights on them. They had this. They bought this lights because um, it seems Selkies was in trouble, and I wanted to help them. They
All
didn't
right.
want to face this danger. What basically happened is they saw something really weird. It was black thing like a sub. They didn't saw. They didn't understand what they saw, but the two of the Selkies was in their seal form. He again lowers his voice, and one of them was in normal form. The problem was they saw a shark, and this shark um, attacked one of the Selkies. Um, Misha OOC, Christie's character,
Hmm.
gave William the description of what she saw, but I know OOC that couldn't saw every part of
Right.
it. Like she just saw black sub, but like I don't even know what the sub means. Like she saw something black, which is weird, and then they saw the shark and they fucked off.
Gotcha. He looks and he kind of nods his head. Okay. Um.
The It's really good that the Selkies survive. They get out of there. Um, but I've been asking around. Maybe there might be one of our older members who might knows about this. So I arrived and I apologize for taking your time.
And he kind of like he takes a deep breath. He kind of sighs and Well, there's not going to be many more of that'll be as knowledgeable as me on these things, except for maybe some of the older Selkies, but I'm going to paint you a story. So,
He takes a paper and pen, but he looks at him like if he is allowed to take notes, he will take notes. He doesn't say anything, like he just waits. If he's allowed, if he looks like no, he will just like
he
put them
looks a little
aside.
confused, but
I wanted to take notes for my friends.
and he nods. So, I I didn't see the kingdom until our kingdom, Concordia, until 2.5 years after I had gone through my chrysalis. I was out at sea a number of years ago. I actually went through my chrysalis in a submarine. I I wasn't the only changeling on board. There was a knocker. He was good friends of mine until he blew himself up. But that's another story for another round of drinks.
He nods. He takes notes. He nods.
I so I go through this chrysalis during my I go through my chrysalis and the dream dance and all that goes with it. 5,000 feet under the water, and a small military vessel that really the only reason it's running is because our engine guy was the knocker. And I thought I was losing my damn mind. Uh, they had me locked up for a bit. But there are types of creatures. There are fae that aren't like us at all. They they never see sunlight. They never step on land, and they just live their entire lives in the water. They are, well, it's hard to explain. I mean, mermaid might be a good way to go with it. We could do that as a starting point. But they don't always have human attachments. Like, he kind of points to himself and to you. Their face holes more kind of like, Jesus, like those who just come back, like the ones who come through glimmers, she or otherwise. They come from a weirder place, and I don't get it. But they bond with fish and sharks and turtles and real creepy shit that lies under the water. But
His
they
eyes
have,
are wide open. He's
what was
listening.
that?
His eyes are wide open. He's listening. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought I was going crazy when I'm just doing my thing. I used to work on sonar, and every so often I would hear, well, the other guys on the sonar team thought it was whales or dolphins. Pretty sure it was whales, but it wasn't. They would just discard it as ambient background noise and kind of leave it at that. Or listening for other submarines. But there was rhythm and pattern, and they could communicate. They could talk. They talk like you and I talk, but as opposed to French and English and German, and Spanish, they speak in whale and dolphin. I hear some speak shark. They have now. This is hard, and I went into the dreaming to find out more, and God, that was a mistake. That was like he kind of goes pale for a little bit, like he's reliving something.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks up and just kind of almost dead in the eyes. Whatever you do, don't go in the oceans in the dreaming. Do not do that. That was a mistake I almost lost my life in. But these creatures could call, and they could use, from what I learned, they use arts like we do. And they can weave the magic. They can channel the dreaming. While and they could sense it like you and I could sense it. So they knew. I don't know how they knew, but they knew we were on board that boat. And the sub started having electrical, just mechanical problems. We started to sink, and people were saying, no, it's just engine failure, or no, it's, there's something wrong controlling this ballast or that ballast, and that there was just, a mechanical issue. Well, they had summoned up some sort of chimera from the deep, and it wasn't hostile. I mean, I couldn't see it because I was inside the sub, and but it was big. It was able to manifest, and the radar systems went down. I don't know how that happened, he says in a very sly and innocent manner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way I could actually tell you how big this thing was, except for maybe
Bigger than the submarine.
did you ever see that movie Godzilla? It was kind of like that, but I wouldn't know anything about that. Nope, not at all. He smiles very wryly, and the sonar noise picked up, and it told us that we weren't welcome in its lands, um, or its territory. This is where they swim. This is where they have authority and jurisdiction. This is their territory. So they're a type of Ghislaine that we call merfolk. They are the dreams of the deep sea and all that that encompasses. They normally stick to deep, deep waters beyond the continental shelf. They don't like land too much. But I saw those same news reports and I thought, that is not normal shark behavior. And some of those species don't belong in the area. I went to the
Yeah.
website and it's not natural. So, I mean, big, dark, scary thing, able to move freely underwater, just out of sight, away from the lights. Sounds like a merfolk.
Sir Collins, it's a weird question, I know. The This kingdom has a lot of relationships with other kingdoms. Do you know
Mm,
that they have a relationship with these individuals, or do they accept the people or the container on the land as someone they can negotiate with?
my headset's acting up a little bit. I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. What he says is, like, we have a kingdom, and they have a domain there that they call for themselves. Does our kingdom recognizes this, and is there any negotiations or talks?
The land belongs to the landwalkers, and those of the water stay in the water. That's that's how it's been. There's generally been no real trade or conversation because for us to get to their kingdom, you have to be fairly very competent, at least in the very some of the most powerful parts of the metamorphosis or primal arts, and show rudimentary naming and mastery of the time realm, so that we don't really interact that often. I heard that at one point the kingdom sent, well, the people, the merfolk, sent an ambassador up to the land to try and figure us out and what to do with us. And I don't know, it's all everything I know from that's rumor and speculation. Some say he spent time with a troll or lived with a slua or a satyr, and some say hostile words were exchanged and they threat, and there's been a threat of war ever since. Some say that it went on peacefully. Some say that, whoever it is he lived with, that this merfolk lived with, she lived with, it lived with, ended up going down to their kingdom. Some say he died in that this whatever whoever went died in a freak accident. Some say the person was assassinated. Some say he opted to stay down there forever and abandon his motley. But these are all
Okay.
rumors, and this happened a long time ago, so things get covered up, things get changed. You can ask 100 people who know the story and get 100 different versions of the story.
So what I get is that you were working at the in a submarine, Mr. Collins, with a couple other changelings, and um, you have heard fishes and whales or any other sea creatures talking in many languages. which understandably give you the realization of there are fake creatures who are able to talk and bond with the ocean and the creatures in the ocean. Um, you have went to ocean in dreaming and nearly lost your life, and they can also sense us doing magic. The the story gets um, important where you said that the underwater fae summoned a big chimera that was unable to be kind of like air quotes sensed by the radar, which kind of meant that either it's really big and it's being able to manifest, but it does not attack anybody on sight. Um, this thing might be big as Godzilla, and it picked a voice which basically told you we're no longer welcomed here and it's its domain now. You also told me the stories of the merfolk, the dreams of the big sea. They normally stay in deep waters. They don't like land, and you are thinking that these attacks may be caused by merfolks who are really good at naming, as far as I understand.
Well, no, to with that's not what I was saying. I was saying
Hmm.
it would take somebody to go to their kingdom. If you wanted to go somehow get to their kingdom and talk with them, you'd have to be excellent at naming and metamorphosis. I mean, you'd have to swim down to the blackest parts of the ocean where only our mind can wander.
Okay. And there were rumors about one time merfolks an ambassador up to land, and nobody knows what happened to the ambassador.
Yeah, that.
Um, I will try to find more info on this, but thank you a lot. Um, the maybe the merfolk ambassador is still around. I don't think it is, but I hope so.
Who knows? But if it is a merfolk and it's starting to cause problems on land, then we may have a lot bigger issue than we actually think. I
The
mean, it just could be one of them that's lashing out, but generally they stay in the dark waters, in the deep waters.
I am. If this is a bigger problem, do you really think that I should inform the if we have a, let's just say a, what was the name of that clue about this is related to merfolk and they're doing these attacks? Do you really think I should inform the kingdom and the those who are interested in protecting the citizens?
I don't know if it's something that big. I mean,
Maybe not.
this could be just one angry merfolk.
Maybe
This.
not.
I mean, if it is merfolk, I think it might be.
I thank you a lot for these knowledge, and you have shared me a great vast knowledge. If there is any way I can help you, please tell me. And I am very serious about this. I owe you a big deal. I owe you a big chunk of knowledge.
Well, if you decide to go in the deep water, you didn't get that idea from me.
I did.
You can buy me a beer as a thank you.
He nods and he, asks for another round.
Hmm.
Um, just a second, sir, he says, and then like he takes Misha, we need to be fucking immediately. And he tries to talk with him, and he actually asks, um, "You said that you were in the water, on the water. Have you heard about my dad? My dad was the captain of the Rangers. Um,
Hmm. Army?
Pardon?
He was an Army Ranger? It's a
No, 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 no.
U.S. Special Forces.
He laughs. He was a captain of the ship named Rangers. He was working for our kingdom. His name was Edward Stevenson.
He shakes his head, not ringing any bells.
He nods. He nods.
Nah, not not familiar.
Thank you a lot again. I appreciate your help. Um, and he asks one more beer for him as well.
Hmm.
Um, my friend who is actually went deep waters. I hope that she won't go again, so I need to inform her immediately. I apologize, but I kind of have to go near her before she finds herself in trouble.
I mean, the last thing you want to be is in the water and have a mako come up on you at 50, 45 miles an hour. You know, great whites are native to the waters here. I'd be careful, especially with all the shark attacks. And if
I will,
somebody's pulling strings,
I will, I will let her know, sir. This is, as you have said, might be really dangerous.
yeah, this could be a lot more dangerous than people think, but could be a good learning experience. But if you ever want to know more, I got a couple old stories and anecdotes up my sleeve. You buy me beer, I'll tell you stories. We can do that in the future.
I would love to do that. He laughs.
Hmm. He just smiles. Anything to help keep the younger generation going.
It was a pleasure to meet with you, sir. He extends a hand, gets up, and when he gets up, he is like nodding, like if he was wearing a jacket, he would close the jackets.
Right, right. No, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Um,
And he leaves with Kelgar, texting Nisha to meet because he fears that she might go to deep waters again.
Alrighty. And with that, we will end our scene. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Thank you, players, for playing. And we will see you next time on Living World of Darkness, Changeling 20.